Todos habrán escuchado de Auschwitz, un campo de concentración en Polonia durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Quizás eso les parezca lejano y quizás ya no presente en nuestra realidad, pero hoy tenemos con nosotras a Bronia Krause, que ella sí vivió el campo de concentración y desde hace algunas décadas vive en la República Dominicana. Para nosotros, Aletheia Art, y para ustedes, pienso que es un testimonio viviente de lo más pugnaz, de lo más fuerte, para entender una década perdida en Europa. Entonces, le damos a continuación la bienvenida a Bronia Krause. We are very touched by your willingness to speak to us about your experience in Auschwitz. For the people to understand what is Auschwitz, Auschwitz is a concentration camp where more than 1,100,000 people has lost their lives, mainly Jewish, also intellectuals of Poland, and homosexuals at large, also war prisoners. So many people, so many lives that have been lost. Just 200,000 have been saved from this camp, and you are one of these 200,000.
You could take 1,000,000 histories and everybody will tell you something different from their own experience. And I would say not even the experience at the time, because you were too numb, you had no feelings. It's just after when you replay it in your mind.
Do you still replay?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. You know, let me put it this way. I will never forget, but I forgive. Well, first of all, let me track back a little. Before even Auschwitz, when the war broke out, is it okay to say that?
Of course.
Of course, when the Germans came in, we were right away confined to a ghetto. And that was in Poland. Immediately they came and they looted everything. They took all our possessions and we couldn't go anywhere. We were restricted to be at a certain place which is called a ghetto.
Right.
Okay. At that point we had no more food and we couldn't go out. And the worst thing that I remember as a child is when they took all the Jewish people who were Orthodox and they smashed them to the floors and they tore their beards out with their hands. So that was the first cruelty that I witnessed. So no matter how you get over your experiences, there is always a scar. When you have an operation, you always are left with a scar. It only depends how deep it is and how you want to go and, just continue on that process, which I don't. That's not my nature. So
What is not your nature? To continue on the process?
Not to be angry. It doesn't make sense. It's best to make peace, even if you know that you are right. You do the best you can to keep peace. Because if with wars would bring peace, we wouldn't have so many wars. So obviously it doesn't do anything.
True.
Right? So for my survival, I believe unconsciously that I am a peaceful person, and that helps you get along with people, no matter what people. Typhoid from malnutrition. My mother died in the ghetto. She was only 38 years old.
And you, how old were you back then?
When my mother died, I was about 15, 16. Yes, and I saw her die.
So you saw your mother die in front of you in the ghetto?
Absolutely, because my mother, they were, before the war, we were not Rockefellers, but we were well-to-do people, you understand. So naturally, food, we always had food. And once you don't get that food, you slum down. And, the worst part of it is that we were dehumanized.
You were a number.
No, not that. We were dehumanized. We were not people. We were not even animals. We were nothing. You understand? Just to show you the cruelty. But when my mother died of malnutrition, of TB, tuberculosis, from no food, you didn't even get a burial with a funeral. Do you understand? And how do you think this process went? It's like a barrel, you know, like an oil truck that you see. And on top of all this garbage, these human people were on top. Not, do you understand? Not even a burial. And when it came to the burial, one on top of the other, one on top of the other, in a massive grave, I don't know where mother is buried. This is something, when you go through a disaster, may it be an earthquake or a hurricane, you know, a major disaster, and you do survive, you don't forget that experience. It stays there. But at the same time, you have good experiences that stay there too. You understand?
From those years, I don't know what kind of good experiences you could have.
Not at that time, but I always somehow, I think I'm going to be my own psychologist and psychiatrist, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I think that by nature, I was always, I always look for the positive. In fact, I always laugh when I say I have 2 birthdays. How lucky can you be? One when I was born, and one April 15th, because I was reborn.
What happened April 15? What happened?
We were liberated. I was liberated.
What does it mean liberated? In that
we didn't even know when the war was end. We had no idea what was going on in the outside world. That's first. Second of all, we were not even capable of thinking. We were just capable of laying there. Maybe we'll get up and maybe we won't. You understand? But when April 15 came, I was liberated by the English army. There were three, the Soviet, the English, and the American. The Auschwitz was liberated first in January. I was liberated in April. And I believe on the American zone it was in May. I'm not sure. Because each of the allies, you know, surrounded, and that's what happened. So in Bergen-Belsen in 1945, we saw soldiers. We didn't know what they speak. It was English. We didn't know that. And again, we were sent to different camps. It wasn't like this is the end and it's finished. After that, we were just sent to DP camps, displaced persons camps.
Displaced persons camps.
Yes, lists were circulated in every DP camp to see if maybe there is a survivor. You understand? Because I knew my mother died, but there were people who came to us, they don't know, are they alive or are they not? We didn't know.
And your aunt, you were expecting to see your aunt.
I don't know what happened to her. Obviously she died. But my uncles, my 3 uncles died in the ghetto from malnutrition with such bumps on their faces and on their carbuncles. You know, like I said, sometimes I'm thinking to myself, am I really a survivor? I doubt myself. You understand? But I know that you would probably ask me the question, so how did you survive? What did you do to survive? Frankly, nothing.
Maybe it was your destiny.
Maybe, I don't know. But at least if people ask me to share these things, maybe it'll do something for the future. That's why I'm so willing to do it. Because too much time I don't have. And there are not too many of us who survive. You know, we are a dying breed. Every day someone of us dies who was still alive. So if that's what I could contribute to humanity, I do it.
Anyways, Bronia, thank you. Thank you for giving us this time, for reopening your heart and your memories, and for transmitting to the public in general what it was really to be in Auschwitz and during the World War. I have, when I was small, heard so many stories about the war, but a living person from Auschwitz never. So thank you for this terrible honor, and I hope that many people in the world will be able to hear it, see it, and feel it. And maybe it's a message for future generations. Anyways, it was a terrible honor to interview you.
Now I want to say something. I want to thank you for taking your time, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't say it. So you are part of it, of bringing all this to the story to life. So thank you.
You're welcome. My name is Vivi Geifer. See you soon. Bye.